Hey friends, I am doing some tomatoes today. We are here about 2 weeks into the first round of seeds that we planted. I want to say it's about 2 weeks. Maybe it's three. I don't know. Time goes really fast. So these are my tomatoes right now. So I do the overseeding method where each cell gets a few seeds. And then what I do is I thin later. So here we are, thinning stage where sadly some of these are going to go, but we can't continue to grow like this. And also with tomatoes, like all these little hairs that are on the stems, those are all actual roots. Tomatoes are like a vine. They're part of the nightshade family. So they like to really grow really underground. So what I'll do is transplant these into a bigger pot. We're going to do that today. I'll show you how to do that. And sadly, a lot of these are just going to go. What else do we have growing in here right now? Peppers. Peppers like it really warm. They take a long time to get going. So these guys are probably just going to stay where they're at for a little bit longer. Maybe until their next set of leaves come on before I'll move them. Even if there's like 3 or 4, I'll probably just cut away 1 or 2 at the bottom and just leave 1 in each cell. They don't need, again, I'm not growing a bunch of peppers this year. So I'm cutting back on that. Also we have in this tray are, let's see. This sadly did not. This is my lupine, I think. I got one little guy coming up. So what I'm going to do, it might just be a little too cold in this area still, so I might put another seed mat under here, a heat mat, or I'll move this to a warmer location. Zinnias are growing nicely. I'll probably just keep these in here for just a little bit more, and then I'll transplant them out. However, all of these basils and mints probably need to be in a different container. So I'll transplant a bunch of these. Look, we got purple basil, purple, couple different kinds, and this is catnip. I love to grow catnip. I dry it and I give it out as gifts, so I like to have bushes of it. So I haven't planted new catnip in many years because it comes back. However, last year I did a big clear out of it, and I'm going to do some fresh planting this year. So that's that first tray we had going. And again, the only thing I think I'm going to transplant out here are the basil and the tomatoes. They definitely need some more space. And then on the other ones, we had some onions starting. They're fine. Just going to keep them growing just like that until I move them outside. Onions are really hard to start from seed, so I'm actually pretty happy with this. I'm going to start putting a fan on my seedlings. I just put a little stool at the end of my lights, and I put a small fan on low, and it mimics the outdoor environment with wind and makes them stronger. So those are doing just fine. These are my impatiens. They're about half germinated. I'm going to leave these in here. They're going to continue to keep growing. Same with these. Just going to let them keep growing. These will be sown and put up front. And then the others I have are still just onions, and they're doing their thing. So let's go ahead and just transplant a few tomatoes. I'm just going to do a few of them on camera, and then I'm going to talk the next steps of what I'm going to be planting next. So going into the next phase of tomatoes, I have 4-inch pots, lots of drainage holes. I'm going to go ahead and fill it just a little bit because when I do a seedling, I'm going to take a couple of them actually. I'll probably save 2 of each plant from each cell, which would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 24. That would be 48 plants, and that's a lot of tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull these suckers out. Look at that root growth. Fantastic. We start these in a small cell specifically for this. We want some good root growth. If you're not seeing some good roots in here, there's something off with your soil, your lighting, your temperature, something's not right. So in this, what you can do is literally, I'm going to save 2 of them, and I'm going to save the strongest, which look like this one and this one to me. So I'm going to get rid of these guys. Bye, guys. And I'm going to tear this apart just like that. And then this is going to go all the way down deep into my pot. I'm going to cover the soil all the way up to the bottom leaves. And what that's going to do is promote all of that stem to start new roots on it. And it'll be a much stronger, healthier plant coming into the garden. And I may even transplant just like that, these again. So here you go, another one. As long as you don't want to pull hard. I mean, seedlings are, fragile, but you can pull them apart. They're going to bounce back. As long as there's still that root ball there, you're fine. So that's how I would transplant my tomatoes, and I will go ahead and do that for all 24 cells. And I'm going to sadly say goodbye to these. I'll put them in my compost bin. I bet you a bunch of them survive and even grow out of the compost. I get that every year. So sorry, little guy, but you got to go. So that's fun. That's that. Basil, I'm going to bump up and do this with the basil because I'm going to spread them out in a few different pots. Really, I don't want this size yet. Let me see what I have to the side. Oh, I have something here. It's a little better. So I'm going to get a 2-inch pot for this. This might be, I think this is a 2-inch pot. Much smaller, right? So I'm going to fill that. And this is a good size for bumping up for the next round of your basil plantings. Because they do want to be separated a little bit. So here we go again. We have some great root structure in these basils. Basil, I do feel like it likes to be grown together. So what I'm going to do here, this smells amazing right now. I'm going to pull it apart gently, and I'm going to add this one to this pot. Push it down. I think basil likes friends when it grows, so this is going to fill out this pot nicely. And again, I'll let it grow in this pot until it outgrows it, and then I'll repot it into something bigger. And my thing with basil is you want to get basil big and bushy before you start cutting it. If you start cutting it when it's small, it's never going to get really big. So I think with basil, you kind of have to just be patient. Let it get really big and bulky, and then you're going to cut forever. So I think basil is just a plant of patience. So there's that one. Let me see if I have another 2-inch pot over here that I can use. I may not because it's not a common pot I use. Oh, here we go. I have one more. Another 2-inch pot. A little soil. Little hole in the middle. Just going to plug that puppy right on in. Press down. I'm going to water these and they'll go back under another set of lights. And that's how we do transplanting of basil and tomato. And again, those are the only ones I'm going to do right now. I'll finish my tray, but everything else seems to be doing really well in the containers it is. Now, the next round of planting that's going to be happening, and I can't even tell you, we're kicking it into high gear now, folks. This is the time of year as the weather is, we're into spring. Daylight savings is tomorrow. This is where I'm going to start. We talked about some dwarf cabbages. This is a fantastic early Jersey dwarf cabbage. It's very small. Let's see how tall does it actually get. It's a tasty 2-pounder. That's about it. But they don't get huge. So this is, here we go. It doesn't say. That stinks. Anyways, this is a dwarf version. We talked about having space in the garden, and cabbage was something that grows really big and wild, the big green ones. So this is an heirloom variety that is very compact and small. I enjoy these. Another one is a few that I would love to share. I've never grown this buckwheat before. Look how gorgeous this is. This, for me, is a pollinator. So I'll put this throughout different garden beds to attract butterflies and bees. Absolute favorite sunflowers are the Mexican sunflowers. These are the red torches. These are small. They grow like multiple on a stalk, and some of the most gorgeous, vibrant reds ever. So I have some of these. And again, I think I spoke to someone in a Zoom. I plant a lot of sunflowers in the city as privacy fencing. So I have a lot of fencing and a lot of houses surrounding my backyard. And all along the fence lines, I do large sunflowers, so some mammoth versions. and it just gives me some privacy. So those are that, and then sunflower and corn is another one that I love to do that will give me some privacy. But right now we're going into broccoli season. I need to get broccoli started. I need to get cauliflower started. I don't think I have that in here. It's over my other batch. I need spinach to get started, my kales, my mustard greens, my collard greens. All of those are going to get started. They like it in this cooler part of the spring. And I actually have hoop houses outside right now, pak choy, cabbage, all that likes to get started now. So things like that, I'm going to get started, and we're going to do that tomorrow outside. I have hoop houses. I have fresh straw. I've already gotten 2 beds ready. So what I'll do is I'll put up my hoop houses. I'll lay my seeds in the ground in those raised beds, and I'll cover it with my tunnels, and they'll just begin processing as it warms up here. So I'm excited for that. My bigger seeds, they wait until it's warm. So we're not going to start pumpkins. We're not going to start squash or any of these really large seeds. These will be in the ground and blooming within, a week or two. So we are going to wait on those. The other thing I will start tomorrow is potatoes. And this is one of my absolute favorite things to grow. You can get them. I don't know if you buy potatoes this time of year and you notice how quick they go to seed. And it's because potatoes dormant. So potato will go to rest every year, and it'll start seeding at its normal time. And that's this time of year in the springtime. So what you do is you get a bag of potatoes from the grocery store that look like this, or one that's been sitting on your counter. I like to grow potatoes in cardboard boxes here in the city. I don't have the space in the ground. So what I do is I get cardboard boxes, I line them around the property line, I put them inside my garden on the walkways, on the edge of the pathways. I fill them with soil, and I put seed potatoes in them. You really just need a portion. You could cut this off, and that's 2 parts of your seed potato that you throw in the dirt. And like a big box, I would probably throw 6 to 8 of these seeds in there. And then I just literally fill them with dirt, top them with straw, and I let them be. They grow all season long, and each box is just like a gift that keeps on giving. So I have these. I have some red bliss, and I have some fingerlings. They all are ready to go. So those will go in my garden tomorrow as well. So that's my garden update. I really did just want to share that, when you do plant seeds and you do get the right type of lighting and the right temperature, it really is kind of easy to get going on your garden. These kind of look funny because, they looked like this coming out of the pot, and now they're this big. But really, this is going to make this a better plant in the end. It's going to make it stronger, and eventually I'll top it too. So once it gets even bigger, I'm going to just cut these things off, and it'll grow fatter and instead of longer or taller, and that gives me a better plant as well. So hope you guys are starting some seeds. Again, if this seems overwhelming, get yourself some barley seeds for your cat or just to grow. Something like this is what I grow for my kitties. You seed it heavily. I just do them in mugs. This is the cat grass I grew a couple weeks ago. The cats are still chewing on it. As long as you keep it moist, it'll keep growing, and they'll keep eating it. So that's something really easy to try. And other than that, I think happy crafting and happy gardening, guys. See you soon.